Our story begins with an unfortunate older brother getting blackmailed by his younger sister into playing a cheesy O-tone game. Reluctantly, he grinds through the game, mocking its absurd characters and mechanics the entire time. After finally clearing it under her strict conditions, he thinks he's free, until fate decides otherwise. Just as he steps outside, dizziness takes over, and he tumbles down the stairs to his unexpected demise. But death isn't the end for him. Instead, he wakes up in a brand new body, only to realize he's been reincarnated inside the very same O-tone game he despised. Now going by the name Leon Faux Bartfort, he's trapped in a world where power belongs to women, and men have little say in their future. His new life isn't glamorous either. His so-called family treats him like an outsider, forcing him to live in a rundown shed while his stepmother, Zola, and her children enjoy a luxurious mansion. His only option? Survive by studying hard and aiming for a future at the academy. Fast forward 10 years, and Leon has spent the last decade preparing for the inevitable chaos of the game's storyline. Since his family never played a major role in the original game, he's technically just a background character, a mob. But that doesn't mean he's safe. His plans for a quiet life crumble when Zola arranges a marriage for him, all to settle the family's financial troubles. If he refuses, he'll be forced into the army, where survival is slim. Not one to accept a miserable fate, Leon takes matters into his own hands. Using his knowledge of the game, he sets sail toward a hidden dungeon, a place originally meant for the protagonist of the story. But things don't go as smoothly as planned. A sudden storm tosses him onto a mysterious island, where he stumbles upon an abandoned warship guarded by an ancient combat robot. A fierce battle breaks out, and just when it seems like Leon's done for, he manages to outsmart the machine, proving his worth. The AI on board recognizes him as the ship's new master, and just like that, he gains control of the powerful Luxion. 3 months later, Leon returns home, not as a weak, disposable pawn, but as someone with wealth, power, and a futuristic warship at his command. With his newfound fortune, he rejects Zola's ridiculous marriage proposal and finally gets what he wanted all along: admission into the academy. Leon is in high spirits, happily watering flowers while Luxion comments on his unusually good mood. The reason? The priceless look on his stepmother Zola's face after learning that Leon is now an independent knight with his own island. Luxion, ever the strategist, suggests transforming the island into a hot spring resort, a plan that Leon immediately warms up to. With the ship's robots working on the construction, he eagerly looks forward to an easygoing life as a baronet. However, his dreams take a hit when his father, Balkis, unexpectedly grants him the title of baron. The catch? He now needs to marry someone of Zola's rank, which leaves Leon utterly devastated. As Leon arrives at Halford Academy, he takes in the grandeur of the place while recalling that this is where the game truly begins. He watches as noble students interact, including a lady bossing around her servant, but his attention is quickly drawn to the arrival of Prince Julius' entourage, followed closely by Angelica and her attendants. Hoping to stay out of the limelight as a background character, Leon watches from afar, until he sees Julius getting slapped by an unknown girl. Something feels off. The lines she's saying were supposed to belong to Olivia, the game's protagonist. Confused but intrigued, Leon decides to keep an eye on her. Later in his room, Leon reflects on this strange event as Luxion returns from scouting the city. Luxion remarks that his own technology surpasses anything in this world and notes the need to study magic further. Their conversation takes an unexpected turn when Leon reveals that he's been studying an unusual subject: tea parties. Determined to improve his standing at the academy, Leon consults his classmates Daniel and Raymond for information on available noble girls. Unfortunately, they have no leads, except for a tea party Daniel hopes will attract girls. Meanwhile, Prince Julius and his companion Jilk are effortlessly surrounded by admirers eager to attend their event. Angelica attempts to discuss the party with Julius, only to be rejected in favor of Marie, the same mysterious girl from earlier. During class, Leon's lack of interest in tea party etiquette earns him a dramatic lecture from the instructor, one so moving that Leon is brought to tears. Undeterred, he hosts his own tea party, inviting a baroness and her companions. Unfortunately, they only attend to kill time before Brad's upcoming tea party. After their departure, they casually critique Leon's inadequate refreshments, leaving him disheartened by the complexity of noble social events. Later, Leon stumbles upon Olivia being bullied. Despite his desire to remain uninvolved in the game's storyline, he invites her for tea. Unlike the aristocrats, Olivia is genuinely polite and expresses her desire to study magic, though she struggles with the Academy's unwritten rules. To help her navigate noble society, Leon enlists the reluctant help of his older sister Jenna, who advises Olivia to bring expensive snacks as bribes to gain entry into high society tea parties. With Leon's help, Olivia secures an invitation to Angelica's tea party, where they bond over their shared appreciation for him. During an exploration class, Leon grumbles about Daniel and Raymond skipping out, leaving him alone with the prince's entourage. Before the group ventures into the dungeon, he witnesses a tense confrontation between Marie and Angelica, with Julius stepping in to defend Marie. Curious about Marie's background, Leon learns from Olivia that she has mysteriously won over the prince and his companions. Inside the dungeon, Olivia locates their objective, a crystal, but their success is short-lived as they are ambushed by giant ant monsters. Armed with a high-tech sword crafted by Luxion, Leon effortlessly cuts through the creatures. However, a monkey-like monster suddenly bites down on his arm, forcing Leon to finish it off with a dagger. Wounded and surrounded by more monsters, Leon braces himself, until Julius and his entourage arrive just in time, followed by Angelica and her guards. Marie rushes to heal Julius' minor injury, prompting him to leave with her without acknowledging Angelica's concern. Meanwhile, Olivia notices Leon's wound and uses her healing magic on him instead, sealing their growing bond. Marie's belongings are burned by 3 students, but before she can do anything, Prince Julius and Jilk retrieve them and confront Angelica. They accuse her of ordering the attack, though Angelica is completely unaware of the culprits. Julius, however, coldly warns her to stay away from him and Marie from now on. Meanwhile, Leon, Daniel, and Raymond chat about the academy's social scene. Some rich students are already engaged, and ironically, the nice girls are all taken, leaving only those with bad attitudes. Leon finds himself in the same predicament. His tea party invitations are ignored. Their conversation shifts to the recent bullying of Marie, with Angelica taking most of the blame. Julius is furious about it, but Leon internally notes that this outburst happened much later in the original game story. Later, in the library, Leon and Olivia discuss Marie's situation. Curious, Olivia asks if Leon likes girls like Marie, to which he awkwardly denies. She then recalls a strange encounter where Marie told her she hates girls like her. This triggers a memory in Leon, but before he can process it, they hear a noise. Following the sound, they stumble upon Brad and Marie, kissing. Marie, meanwhile, revels in her newfound influence, knowing that Julius scared off her bullies. Julius and Jilk later approach her, offering to hire a servant for her, given her financial struggles. Internally, Marie is thrilled because she wants a demi-human slave for herself. Angelica soon hears about this from her friends and, in private, mourns how far Julius has drifted from her. Elsewhere, Leon gets a surprise visit from his sister, Jenna, who asks if he knows Marie. He explains what he's learned, and in turn, Jenna warns him about the dangers of getting on the prince's bad side. Before leaving, she bluntly tells him not to embarrass himself. Left alone, Leon reflects on the end of the first semester, noting that all he is left to do is host a tea party and explore another dungeon. Luxion, of course, teases him about still being single. The two banter, but when Leon asks for Marie's 3 sizes, Luxion flat out refuses. Same for Angelica's. At a Grand Academy party, Julius, Marie, and Angelica are all in attendance, along with Leon, Daniel, and Raymond, who vow to find girlfriends. Their plan? A total failure, as all 3 are immediately rejected. Soon after, Olivia informs Leon of a major incident. Angelica caught Marie being affectionate with another man. Furious, Angelica publicly challenges Marie to a duel. This is the infamous duel event from the game, where the heroine's strongest companion fights for her honor. Julius, blinded by love, vows to fight for Marie, and one by one, his entire entourage, Jilk, Greg, Chris, and Brad, join the challenge. Even Marie's servant, Kyle, volunteers. Angelica, however, has no one to fight for her. Leon, knowing what will happen if she loses, steps up as her champion. Angelica is reluctant but accepts. Leon, however, demands to set the duel's conditions. Internally, he notes that Marie, like him, isn't from this world, a fact that unsettles him. Angelica's stake? Marie must stay away from Julius. Marie, seemingly unsure of what to say, repeats a line from the game, confirming Leon's suspicions. Leon then declares the duel will be an armored battle in the Colosseum, leading to a brief altercation with Greg. However, Jilk confirms the rules, and Leon boldly sets the duel as a one-on-one against all 5 opponents. Julius warns Leon to prepare himself, but Leon, ever the troublemaker, taunts him back, goading him into battle. The next day, Marie rages in her room, furious that Leon, a so-called mob character, is ruining her plans. Meanwhile, Leon finds his room vandalized, with Daniel and Raymond revealing they were forced to do it. Luxion, of course, has recorded everything, even uncovering that massive bets are being placed on the duel, with Leon's odds stacked against him. In response, Leon asks for 500 platinum coins, setting a plan into motion. Before the duel, Angelica pleads with Leon to withdraw, revealing that her family has already reprimanded her, and the worst-case scenario is house arrest or exile. But Leon isn't backing down, he isn't doing this for her family's favor. Instead, he's just tired of trying to find a wife and wants to put the prince's entourage in their place. On the day of the duel, Leon arrives in a suit prepared by Luxion and is met by Olivia, who wishes him luck. She doesn't bet on him, believing gambling is wrong, but Leon suspects she has faith in him anyway. As he steps into the arena, he's met with mockery from the crowd. However, he sees that Daniel and Raymond bet on him, which makes him happy. Then, his battle mech, Arrogans, arrives and is immediately ridiculed by the audience. But Leon, he just smiles. The audience erupts into cheers as Julius steps forward, ready to take on Leon, the so-called country bumpkin. With the referee's signal, the duel begins. Wasting no time, Julius launches an aggressive assault, his strikes swift and relentless. Yet, Leon remains composed, skillfully blocking each attack while analyzing his opponent's mech, noting its top-tier armor. His focus wavers momentarily as Luxion chimes in with an irksome remark about how the crowd perceives him, aligning with their disdain. As the battle rages on, Leon mocks Julius, taunting him about his entourage's devotion to Marie. This sparks a heated argument regarding Angelica's affections for Julius. But Julius, unshaken, insists Marie is the only one who truly understands him, voicing his deep-seated resentment toward his royal lineage. In response, Leon launches into a passionate speech about his own struggles, inadvertently resonating with some of the young men in the audience. However, Julius remains steadfast in his love for Marie, leaving Angelica heartbroken. Olivia, unable to remain silent, defends Angelica's love for the prince, but Julius coldly rebuffs the notion, vowing never to acknowledge Angelica again. Determined to settle the matter definitively, Julius declares the duel will only end when one of them falls. Leon, grinning at the challenge, readily agrees, sarcastically daring Julius to command him to lose. However, Julius, upholding the honor of a sacred duel, refuses. Sensing an opportunity, Leon escalates his taunts, further riling up the audience against him. Luxion observes that Leon is deliberately painting himself as the villain, a claim Leon readily admits, his goal being to make Julius see reason while also relishing the act itself. Enraged, Julius charges but finds himself caught in Leon's grip. In this moment, Leon attempts to reason with him, warning of the consequences of choosing Marie over Angelica. But Julius, indifferent to nobility and status, cares for nothing beyond his love for Marie. Seeing no other way, Leon delivers a devastating impact attack, knocking Julius out and securing his victory. Stepping out of his mech, Leon is met by Olivia and Angelica, though Angelica soon departs to check on the fallen prince. Olivia warns Leon that his actions have made him even more despised by his peers, but he remains indifferent, nonchalantly stating that he'll probably leave the academy soon anyway. Meanwhile, Angelica visits a bedridden Julius, and the two share a somber conversation about their ill-fated relationship. It becomes painfully clear Julius' heart belongs only to Marie. Accepting this, Angelica bids him farewell, wishing him and Marie well despite her sorrow. Elsewhere, Leon meets with Angelica's father, Vince, and her older brother, Gilbert, to discuss the fallout from the duel. Vince agrees to clean up the mess Leon created, while Leon announces his intent to renounce his knighthood and decline the offer of barony. When Gilbert inquires about his true motivations, Leon cryptically claims he did it for the kingdom, though his real reasons remain a mystery. Amused by the response, Vince requests that Angelica spend some time in the countryside. As Leon strolls down a hallway, he reflects on the outcome, satisfied overall but lamenting that he never got the chance to learn about tea from his friends Daniel and Raymond or sample all of the academy's desserts. Sometime later, Olivia and Angelica accompany Leon aboard his ship, heading toward his countryside home. Angelica, burdened with guilt, blames herself for Leon's expulsion from the academy. Olivia tries to reassure her, explaining that Leon had intended to leave on his own terms. However, Angelica remains conflicted, struggling with the weight of her emotions. Unbeknownst to them, Leon and Luxion eavesdrop on their conversation, observing silently. At the Bartford estate, Luce informs Balkis of the preparations for Angelica's arrival. Zola, along with her children, makes an unwelcome entrance, lashing out at Balkis over Leon's reckless actions. However, she is caught off guard by Angelica's presence, failing to recognize her. Angelica firmly announces her decision to stay, prompting Zola to leave in frustration. Later, Leon gives Olivia and Angelica a tour of the surrounding lands. The two young women bond while bathing, sharing a heart-to-heart about Olivia's connection with Leon. Later, when they regroup with Leon, Olivia asks him to call her Livia, while Angelica requests to be called Angie. The topic of getting revenge on Marie is brought up, and Leon is all too eager to oblige. Livia, too, offers her support in Angie's quest for retribution. Meanwhile, Marie is dealt a crushing blow, Julius and his companions have been disinherited, stripped of their titles and statuses. While Julius can no longer be at Marie's side, his entourage vows to stand by her, plotting revenge against Leon. Marie, however, is devastated. Her carefully laid plans for an easy life of royalty have been utterly shattered. Back at the Bartford estate, Leon and Balkis receive a royal messenger bearing unexpected news. There will be no repercussions for Leon or his family. Instead, Leon's rank will be elevated to the upper sixth, and he will be required to remain at Halford Academy. Later, Leon receives his title from the king and queen, officially binding him to the academy. Luxion informs him that Julius and his former allies have ventured into a dungeon, seeking to earn money and grow stronger in preparation for a rematch. Just then, Livia and Angie approach Leon, excitedly urging him to join them at a newly discovered crepe shop. With a resigned sigh, Leon follows, knowing that, despite everything, his life remains as chaotic as ever. The students of Halford Academy are eagerly preparing for the upcoming culture festival, with Leon overseeing the setup of a charming tea party alongside Daniel and Raymond. The atmosphere is lively until Livia walks in, bashfully clad in a maid outfit. She nervously asks if it looks odd, and Leon, with a reassuring smile, gives his approval. Just as things settle, Angie makes her entrance, proudly donning a maid outfit of her own. A heartwarming moment unfolds as Angie bonds with Livia over their shared outfits, leaving Leon, visibly moved, teary-eyed. However, his thoughts turn bittersweet as he laments his place as a mere mob character, knowing he can't pursue anything more with either of them. The mood shifts when Jenna storms into Leon's room with her butler, demanding a private audience. After being seated and served tea, Leon bluntly asks what brings her there. Jenna reveals she had an argument with a close friend over a viscount destined to amass wealth. She attempted to steal him away but failed, now seeking Leon's help to settle the issue. Leon rejects her request, with Angie supporting him. Frustrated, Jenna storms out, though the matter is soon forgotten when Daniel and Raymond deliver urgent news about a nearby problem. It turns out that former Prince Julius and his entourage are hosting their own tea party right next door, calling it Café Princess. Leon is initially speechless but quickly irked when Julius, who's overheard about Leon's cafe, invites him over. The encounter is tense, especially when Livia is stunned by the outrageous price of the tea, which Julius claims was Marie's suggestion. As Leon's group visits the cafe, they discover it's designed like a high-end host club. Brad criticizes Leon for scouting the competition, but Chris notes it's worth it for Leon's priceless reaction. Marie, the mastermind behind the cafe's theme, appears, sparking a sharp exchange with Leon over the cafe's name. In a haughty tone, Marie suggests Leon should turn his cafe into a mere break room for hers, but Leon stands firm in his defense of his own establishment. Outside, Livia tirelessly tries to attract guests to Leon's cafe but has little success. Just when it seems hopeless, Carla Faux-Wayne, a curious girl, expresses interest. That evening, Queen Mylene, intrigued by the rumors, expresses her desire to visit Leon's cafe, further fueling its potential. The next day, Leon gears up the students, especially the girls, much to the boys' chagrin. However, things take a turn when Angie is summoned by the Executive Council. Later, she's tasked with escorting Queen Mylene at the festival. Mylene apologizes for her son Julius' behavior toward Angie, and the two bond over their shared respect for one another. Meanwhile, Leon and Livia watch a long line form outside Prince Julius' cafe. The tension escalates when a sharp-tongued lady from the Offray family demands to enter Leon's cafe. As the situation worsens, Mylene arrives, witnessing the altercation and stepping in to calm things down. Angie, recognizing the Offray lady as a rival, intervenes, but the situation escalates when the Offray lady insults Livia for her commoner status and accuses Angie of dismissing commoners as mere numbers. When Leon speaks up for Angie, he's slapped by one of the Offray lady's male escorts. Unable to bear the disrespect, Mylene finally steps in, but when the Offray lady refuses to back down, Leon, consumed by a dark aura, takes matters into his own hands. Using magic to enhance his strength, he defeats the Offray lady's escorts, shocking everyone with his intensity. Despite Mylene's attempts to stop him, Leon's resolve only hardens, and he continues to press his advantage. In the aftermath, Angie calls in Master, who reaches Leon emotionally, diffusing the tension. As Leon steps away to prepare tea, Mylene pulls him aside for a private conversation. She warns him that his recent actions have made him many enemies at the royal palace and asks if he has thought about his future. Leon, undeterred, expresses his contentment with his current path. Mylene then shifts the conversation, asking him to help create lasting memories with her. Leon, taking the request seriously, proposes marriage, catching Mylene off guard. Before she can respond, Julius barges in, delivering a punch to Leon's head and dragging his mother away to his own cafe. At Julius' cafe, Mylene confronts her son about his inflated prices and broken promises, especially regarding the duel with Leon. She demands to speak with Marie, who, hiding behind a curtain, is clearly sweating from the tension. Back at Leon's cafe, Leon expresses his frustration at being a mob character, unable to form connections with influential figures like Queen Mylene. Just then, Carla enters, and though Leon tries to turn her away, she spots Livia and asks for her help. Carla, kneeling before Leon, makes a heartfelt plea. She begs him to save her family, bringing part 1 of the anime to an end. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe for more anime recap.